Hey, so I want to show you how to write an equation based on a table of information. So, and these are gonna be a special kind of equation called a function, where one value is defined in terms of another value. So we've got x's and y's, and the the equation that describes them describes how if you have an x, how it becomes y. So just a quick reminder of what a function is. Basically, I look at it kind of like the human digestive system. You put food into your mouth and it comes out as something else. And the inner machinery of your body determines how what you put into it comes out in a different form. Okay? So, a function like this, y equals 4x plus 2, describes a process by which if you put in an x here, it turns into something else. It turns into y. So let me show you what I mean. Alright, let's put in some x values, i.e. let's eat some food. I'm just gonna be kind of basic here. I'm gonna put let's put 1, 2, and 3 into this function here. Okay, so if I plug in, if my x is gonna be 1, I'm putting a 1 into the system. 1 here. Oops. This process says take that 1, multiply by 4, so 4 times 1 is 4, and add 2. So the y, the resulting y would be 6. Alright, let's plug 2 into the machine. Pretend that's, yeah, there we go, 2. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 is 10. So what comes out is a 10. Let's do one more. Putting a 3, eating a 3, seeing what comes out the other end. 4 times, can you see that with everything stacked onto each other? Maybe not. Let's move that guy. Let's delete that guy, delete that guy. So we're putting a 3 in for that x. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 2 is 14. So that's how we would create a table of information if we're given this kind of function, this special type of equation, where x and y are defined in relation to each other. What if we were given a table and asked to write the function that describes the relationship between x and y, that describes the machinery that turns an x into a y? Alright, so I cleared off some room for us to work on turning this into an equation. So it'll be y equals something, y, the result of the process, is equal to these inputs, and then you do something to them to make them into the y's. So let's look at what would turn a 1 into a 2, or what would turn a 2 into a 4, or what would turn a 3 into a 6. Well, to me it looks like we're taking the x's and we're just multiplying them by 2. So our equation would be y equals 2x. Does that work? Let's try plugging in 4 into our process. 2 times 4 is equal to 8. Yeah, so that works. 2 times 4. 4 becomes 8 by multiplying it by 2. Alright, I just paused the recording and ate a snack, so I'm ready to go. Let's do this. Alright, I gave us a new set of values. I left the x's the same, but now the y's are turning into slightly different numbers. So let's see if we can write an equation that describes the relationship between x and y, that tells us how the x's become y's. Let's look at our first pair here. This 1 is becoming a 3. So one idea, let's try light blue. So 1 is becoming a 3 here. So one idea you might try is, well, maybe the y is just x plus 2. So, does that work? Well, here, x is 1, and it becomes 3. So 1 plus 2 is 3. So that works for that point. Well, does it work for this pair? Y equals x plus 2. Our x is 2. So we'd plug that in for the x, and then add 2 to that. That would actually equal 4, not 5. So y equals x plus 2, good idea, but doesn't quite work. Let's try something else. If not plus, maybe, maybe it's, see if x is becoming, if 1 is becoming a 3 here, maybe it's just y equals x times 3. Y equals 3x. Let's see, get my pen back. Y equals 3x. That works for our first point here. If you plug in a 1 for x, you multiply by 3, and you get a 3. That works. What about this 2 and 5? Well, if I plug in 2 for x into this function, this process, I would say 3 times 2, which equals 6, not 5. So again, that doesn't quite work. So let's just try. You might have noticed that this is kind of similar to the one we did before. Let's try something else. Let's start with y equals 2x and see what that does. So we plug in a 1 for x, multiply by 2, that would give me 2, but then to turn that into a 3, I would just add 1 to that. Let's try that. So if I plug in a 1 for x, I get 2 times 1 plus 1, which is equal to 3. That works for the first pair. What about the second pair? Let's plug in the 2 for x. So this would be 2 times 2, which is 4. And then add that 1 plus, let's just say that's 1, equals, that was convenient, equals 5. Yeah, so if I use this equation, a 2 will become a 5. Let's try it on this point here and make sure that's the right equation. So y equals 2x plus 1. So we're going to sub in this 3 for an x. So y equals 2 times 3 plus 1. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So yeah, so the 3 becomes a 7. So that works. So our equation that describes the function or the relationship between x and y, what makes an x become a y, is y equals 2x plus 1.